The four daughters everyone called a curse. Have you ever watched someone throw away the greatest blessing of their life, simply because it didn't look the way they expected? A poor man abandoned his wife in the hospital the day she gave birth to their fourth daughter. He married another woman before the sun went down because he wanted a son. 20 years later, the same daughters everyone called a curse became the pride of an entire village. And the father who rejected them returned with tears in his eyes, begging for forgiveness. Stay with me until the end, because this story reminds us that the greatest treasures in life are often the ones people fail to recognize. In a quiet village lived a poor couple named Oses and Nana. They didn't own much. Their small mud house leaked whenever it rained, and every meal came from the hard work of their hands. But despite their poverty, Nana was grateful for every new day. Oses had only one dream. He wanted a son. He often told anyone who would listen, "A son will carry my name. A son will make me proud." Nana would smile gently. "Every child is a gift," she always replied. When their first baby arrived, it was a beautiful little girl. Nana cried tears of joy. Oses forced a smile. "It's all right," he said. "The next one will be a boy." 2 years later, another baby arrived. Another daughter. Friends laughed behind his back. Some relatives whispered, "Who will inherit your name?" Oses became quieter. Then came the third daughter. This time he didn't even celebrate. He barely held the baby before walking outside. The pressure from relatives became worse. Some blamed Nana. Others suggested Oses should marry another woman. Nana ignored the hurtful words. She loved each of her daughters equally. She raised them with kindness and hope. Years later, Nana became pregnant again. She prayed every night, "Lord, just let this child be healthy." She never asked whether it would be a boy or a girl. The day finally came. After many hours of labor, the nurse smiled. "Congratulations, you have another beautiful daughter." Nana smiled with gratitude, but Osa's face turned cold. Without saying a word, he walked out of the hospital. Nana waited. An hour passed. Then another. He never returned. As evening approached, a neighbor rushed into the hospital. Her face was filled with sadness. "Nana, I'm so sorry. Oses has gone. He says he has married another woman. He says he wants a wife who can give him a son." Nana stared silently at her newborn. Tears rolled down her face. Not because she had another daughter, but because the man she loved had abandoned his own family. With help from kind nurses and a few neighbors, Nana left the hospital carrying her newborn and 3 frightened little girls. She had nowhere to go except her parents' tiny home. Her elderly parents welcomed them without hesitation. The house was already small. Food was scarce, but love filled every corner. Nana refused to surrender. Every morning before sunrise, she prepared homemade drinks and local refreshments. She balanced them carefully on a tray and walked from village to village, under the hot sun. In heavy rain, she kept going. Some days she sold everything. Other days she returned home with almost nothing. Still, she never complained. Her daughters watched their mother struggle. After school, they helped her sell drinks. They washed bottles, fetched water, cleaned the house, and studied late into the night under a small lantern. The villagers continued talking. For girls, they'll only become another family's responsibility. They can never change their mother's life. Nana heard every word, but every evening she gathered her daughters together and said the same sentence: "Education is something nobody can ever take away from you." Those words became their strength. Years passed. The little girls grew into disciplined young women. The eldest daughter worked harder than anyone expected. She finished secondary school with outstanding results. One afternoon, a letter arrived. She had won a fully funded scholarship to study abroad. The entire family cried with joy. Grace held the letter close to her heart. For the first time in years, she believed their future had truly changed. Abroad, her daughter studied tirelessly. She worked part-time, saved every penny she could, and after graduation, she secured an excellent job. The first thing she did was send money home. Soon her sisters continued their education. One became an engineer. Another became a lawyer. The youngest built a successful business. Together they transformed their mother's life. They built her a beautiful home. They cared for their aging grandparents. They paid school fees for children whose parents could not afford an education. The same villagers who once mocked them now spoke their names with pride. Meanwhile, Oses believed life had rewarded him. His second wife had given birth to a son. Everything he had dreamed about. He proudly introduced the boy everywhere he went. My heir, he would say. My future. Years passed peacefully. Then one ordinary morning, everything changed. His son became seriously ill. Doctors said he urgently needed a blood transfusion. Oses immediately volunteered. But after several tests, the doctors looked confused. Their blood types didn't match in a way that made biological parentage likely. More tests were ordered. The results were undeniable. The young man Oses had raised for years was not his biological son. The world around him collapsed. When confronted with the evidence, his second wife finally confessed. She admitted she had hidden the truth for many years. Oses' marriage fell apart. His savings disappeared during the difficult months that followed. The respect he once enjoyed vanished. For the first time in his life, he was completely alone. One day he heard people discussing four successful sisters who had transformed their village. Only then did he discover they were his daughters. The daughters he had abandoned. With shame filling his heart, Oses traveled to their home. The once poor family now lived in comfort. Not because of luck, but because of years of sacrifice. Nana opened the door. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Oses slowly fell to his knees. His voice trembled. I was blind. I chased the child I thought I wanted, and rejected the children God had already given me. I'm sorry. I don't deserve your forgiveness. But if there's any mercy left in your hearts, please forgive me. The daughters stood silently. One wiped away tears. Another looked away. A third struggled to hide her anger. The youngest simply held her mother's hand. Each daughter carried different memories, different pain, different questions. Finally, Nana stepped forward. She looked at the man who had broken her heart many years before. I forgive you. Oses looked up in disbelief. But forgiveness, she continued softly, does not erase the past. It doesn't remove the years my daughters grew up without a father. It doesn't erase hungry nights or lonely tears. If trust is ever rebuilt, it will take time. Oses nodded quietly. He knew she was right. From that day forward, he accepted whatever place his daughters were willing to give him. Not as someone entitled to their love, but as someone grateful for every opportunity to earn back even a small piece of their trust. Nana's daughters continued living by the values their mother had taught them: kindness, education, hard work, compassion, and the village never again called daughters a curse.